Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Before starting the video, please subscribe and keep watching for more details videos. Coco Gauff faces daunting challenges as Iga Swiatek relishes relaxed Asian swing. Coco Gauff weathered a rough North American hardcourt swing, sparking calls for her to take a break and rebuild her serve before 2025. But outside noise won't sway the two-time Grand Slam champion. Instead, she is set to learn on the job and charge into the Asian swing with her trademark grit. With her serve still a lingering concern, Gauff now faces the daunting task of defending a heavy load of ranking points in a crucial stretch of her season. Recently, Turn on Tennis shared a striking stat from Team ER on X, underlining the size of Gauff's task. The post read, "Coco Gauff tops the list with the most points to defend for the rest of the 2025 season. Right behind her is Qinwen Zheng, who also carries a heavy load of points. In contrast, Iga Swiatek has only 400 points to defend, giving her much more breathing room. This difference could play a key role in shaping the year-end rankings." Indeed, world number 3 Gauff carries the heaviest load into this stretch. She has 1,000 champion points from her China Open triumph last year, another 390 from her Wuhan semifinal run, and a massive 1,300 points from her WTA Finals victory. Any slip could open the door for rivals like Zheng or Elena Rybakina to overtake her in the standings. On the other side, Iga Swiatek enjoys a much lighter schedule in terms of pressure. Having missed a big chunk of last year's swing due to a provisional doping suspension, the Pole has just 400 points to defend and could choose to add events like the Japan Open or Pan-Pacific Open to pad her total. In addition, following her loss in Cincinnati, Coco Gauff made a decisive call, parting ways with coach Matt Daly, the man who had guided her to 2 of her biggest titles. It was a bold move, but one that showed the 21-year-old's commitment to evolving her game. In Daly's place, Gauff enlisted biomechanics expert Gavin McMillan to rebuild her serve from the ground up. It was a long-term project, not a quick fix, as former doubles world number 1 Rennie Stubbs pointed out on the CYA podcast. Coco's not comfortable. She's fighting demons. She's fighting her serve. She's fighting her forehand. Gavin's come in to try and do his best to kind of correct some of the stuff, but that's impossible to do in a week. Those words rang true under the bright lights of the U.S. Open. Gauff's campaign in New York started shakily as she was dragged into a 3-set battle by Ajla Tomljanovic in her opener. The warning signs were there, and they turned into alarm bells in the 4th round. There, Naomi Osaka tore through the match from start to finish, punishing Gauff's vulnerable serve. The numbers painted a painful picture: 5 double faults and just 52% of first serve points won, compared to Osaka's staggering 94%. Despite the pressure, Gauff has her eyes fixed firmly on Riyadh. With Sabalenka and Swiatek already qualified for the WTA Finals, the American is on the cusp of booking her spot. Her mind is set on the road ahead, a road that runs straight through Asia, where every point will count and every serve will matter. This is her proving ground, her chance to turn heartbreak into fuel for a late-season surge. Coco Gauff shares post-U.S. Open plans for 2025. After her defeat to Naomi Osaka, 6-3, 6-2, Coco Gauff's disappointing North American hardcourt swing officially ended without a single semifinal appearance. Many observers urged the world number 3 to step away from competition, reset, and return stronger. But Gauff made it clear in her press conference that there is no pause button with the Asian swing fast approaching. With her Grand Slam season now behind her, Gauff revealed that she plans to tap into the same mindset that fueled her success last year. "I have no choice but to do a training block between now and Beijing. It's just the next tournament that I am signed up for," she said. Her words carried a sense of focus and resilience as she explained, "I have said this every year. After the U.S. Open, for me, it's just improvement mode and to get ready for Australia." Gauff also reflected on what made 2024's post-U.S. Open run so successful, saying, "I had good results last year after the U.S. Open, and I think that's because, I don't want to say didn't care because those tournaments deserve effort, but it's just your mindset is different once the slams are over. So whatever happens for the rest of the year, I just want it to be improvement. I don't care results-wise," she added, putting the emphasis on growth over trophies. She also recalled, "Last year, if you told me I would go win in Beijing and WTA Finals, I would have been like whatever because I didn't really care going into it." Her next challenge arrives at the WTA 1000 Beijing Open beginning September 24th, where fans will watch closely to see if Gauff's sharpened mentality can fuel a late-season resurgence. The tennis world watches, breathes, and waits. Two players, Coco Gauff and Iga Swiatek, trace overlapping arcs of promise, pressure, progress, and poise. Where Swiatek appears to move through tournaments with a steady, almost relaxed confidence, Gauff confronts challenges that seem to grow more visible even as her game evolves. In this dance of talent and temperament, we find both a mirror and contrast, Swiatek relishing moments of calm, while Gauff wrestles with aspects of self, opponent, and the heavy shadow of expectation. Setting the scene, the Asian swing and momentum. The Asian swing, which usually refers to the latter part of the WTA Tour in East/Southeast Asia, comes with its own set of pressures. Travel fatigue, humidity, changing time zones, physical and mental toll. It follows Grand Slams, marquee tournaments, and usually comes when margins of error are thinner than ever. Players are tired, expectations accumulate. Iga Swiatek has, over recent seasons, become adept at this transition. Whether it's maintaining form, keeping focus, recovering between tournaments, or simply staying in the zone, she often gives the impression that the external noise, crowds, travel, rounds, is something she can filter out. Her serene intensity, finely honed consistency, and aggressive precision give her a blueprint for dominance, especially on surfaces where her movement, spin, and mental game combine to formidable effect. Coco Gauff, in contrast, while clearly one of the rising pillars of the game, still seems, to many observers, to be fighting multiple fronts. Not always against opponents alone, but against expectations, past results, her own self-doubt at times, and the stylistic demands that Swiatek places on anyone trying to overtake her as the leading figure in women's tennis. The challenge of Swiatek, a benchmark of excellence. Swiatek is more than just an opponent for Gauff. She is a benchmark. On clay, she has been the caretaker of the throne at Roland Garros, repeatedly showing how deep baseline defense, heavy spin, patience, and the ability to force errors turn the tide in her favor. The Guardian. +1. Gauff has, however, made strides. There was that moment in Madrid where she defeated Swiatek 6-1, 6-1 in the semifinals, a match that broke the clay barrier psychological hold Swiatek had over her. Reuters. +1. It wasn't just a tactical win, it was an emphatic statement. Gauff's aggressive mindset, her serving, her ability to force uncomfortable positions on Swiatek, all of them showed a mature version of her game. But that kind of performance is still inconsistent. Replicating it, especially when Swiatek is playing near her peak, remains a tall order. Gauff's daunting internal battles, mental and emotional weight. While Swiatek often appears composed under pressure, Gauff's matches sometimes display glimpses of emotional strain. For instance, in high-stakes matches, such as Grand Slam semis or quarters, small calls, arbitrary decisions, line calls, umpires' decisions, seem to weigh heavily on her. There have been moments when she's visibly frustrated or shaken. ThetanDD.com. +2. Sportskeeda. +2. These moments matter. Against an opponent like Swiatek, who doesn't give many openings, going in mentally vulnerable can allow the already formidable Poles to capitalize. Tactical complexity. To beat Swiatek, especially on clay, one must do many things very nearly perfectly. Play aggressively without being error-prone. Mix up spin, pace, and angles. Maintain energy across long rallies. Recover after lost momentum. Gauff has improved in many of these dimensions, but the margin remains thin. In many of their past matches, Swiatek has made Gauff run, stretch, lift balls with heavy topspin, and essentially push Gauff into doing the harder job. On clay, in particular, Swiatek's edge has been in constructing points in ways that expose even small weaknesses, forehand consistency, movement, or patience. The Guardian. +2. Arab News. +2. Physical and consistency demands. There's the physical demand, not just in stamina during a match, but in recovery between matches, especially across surfaces and climates. The Asian swing often means travel, heat, humidity, less rest. Keeping physically sharp while mental fatigue accumulates is a big challenge. Gauff has shown she's durable, but up against someone like Swiatek, who rarely dips far off her peak, Gauff's occasional errors or lapses are magnified. Consistency, serves, second serves, handling pressure points, staying aggressive when being pushed, has been a struggle not unique to Gauff, but in her case particularly visible in key matches. Against unseeded or lower-ranked players, she sometimes lets off the gas early, or allows momentum shifts that Dr. Swiatek, with her calmer baseline, does not permit. Essentially sports. +1. Swiatek's relaxed swing, a mental advantage. What enables Swiatek to relish swings? Trusted, confident, relaxed, especially in pressure or in travel-heavy segments like the Asian swing. Rhythm and baseline dominance. On slower surfaces or in longer rallies, Swiatek's ability to absorb pace, use spin, and redirect or extend the point tends to shift the burden of aggression onto her opponent. For many, that is mentally wearing. Mental resilience. She has repeatedly shown the ability to bounce back from errors, lose sets, or face adversity in matches without losing her composure. Such calm allows her to reset more cleanly. Experience of big matches. As a multiple Grand Slam winner and someone who has won on clay many times, Swiatek has built not just technical or physical strengths, but a reservoir of experience. She knows the rhythms of major tournaments. She has internalized the patterns and demands. This gives her the space to be more relaxed, ironically, because she has seen it all enough to be less surprised, even when things get tough. Adaptability to conditions. The tour demands travel, variation in climate, and court speed. Swiatek appears to adapt well. Her game is spin-friendly, which helps with slower, heavy courts. Her footwork is nimble, and her shot selection for defense and attack is well calibrated. She doesn't need to force the issue in every match, but when required, she can up the aggression. The crossroads, Gauff's path forward. Gauff, at this moment in her career, is at a crossroads where overcoming Swiatek is both symbolic and practical. Symbolic, because Swiatek represents the top, not only in rankings but in consistency, in ability to withstand pressure, in being the player everyone measures themselves against on clay and major events. Practical, because until Gauff can reliably beat Swiatek, not once, but repeatedly in different conditions, surfaces, pressures, there will always be a question. Can she break that clay ceiling? Some of Gauff's recent wins suggest yes. But the question is how to systematize those performances so they're not anomalies. How to build a game where every time she faces Swiatek, or someone with that style, she enters with a clear mapping of how to stay aggressive without being error-prone, how to maintain strategic variation, how to protect mental composure when momentum shifts are inevitable.